Good day, everyone. If you're seeing this right now, it's Sunday morning. It is the day after day one of the Spartan Games, Spartan Fittest Challenge Games thing they're doing in Vermont. They held it super secret, but now they're slowly starting to leak out some content. Check out the article we put out with bios on all the athletes. Thank you, Jack Bauer. And follow the various athlete stories and Spartan pages. They're sneaking some stuff out. Marion at Mad Motion sneaked out a little video. But this is Joe and I talking about how it went down day one. Away we go.
4 hours into the Spartan Fittest Games, right? Who is the fittest of them all is the question, Matt.
You wanted to get them for 2 hours of registration. They didn't want to do it, but then I saw something about Aaron Newell said you made him move rocks. So what happened?
Yeah, so basically, I figured since we are destroying the property for 5 days to put on these games, if they could help finish a cabin that, some of the members, the actually competing athletes, Hunter, started years ago. I don't know if you remember that with Miguel.
Yeah, we talked about it.
If they could help carry rocks, I kid you not, 100 yards, it would be doing us a favor. It would help out. It would help finish that cabin they started because it's been unfinished in the woods for 7 years. So what was amazing was all the female athletes were actually awesome. They jumped right in. They helped out. They put the men to shame. It was an all-in 45-minute exercise. I was disappointed. A few of the men, I'm not going to single them out, but you could figure it out based on what you just said. A few of the men were difficult. But by and large, we got it done. And what the women ended up saying to me, which I think was true, was, hey, you know what? We've been traveling all day. To be able to get up on the mountain for an hour and change and move around and get to meet the other athletes was actually worthwhile. So thanks for that.
So Aaron is the only whiner of the group. Is that what you're saying?
I wouldn't say that. There were a few others, but I don't want to single anybody out. Aaron's name is only in there because you used it. But he was definitely less than desirable as far as his attitude goes.
Okay. Well, I told these people and anybody who asked me about this event, I said, whatever they schedule, Joe is going to do, Joe could throw any kind of wrench in there because that's what Joe does. He likes to do that. So just be prepared.
Yeah. Well, Mike Morris, David Watson, and the Spartan team fought me hard. I mean, hard. Hey, Joe, this is a professional event. We are going to figure out what discipline creates the fittest athletes. And so although, Joe, we know death race, we know where you come from, we know what you like, please don't do that. And I said, Mike, Dave, Nathan, all I need at most is 2 hours. I need some help on a cabin that many of these athletes started years ago, never finished. I promise you I'm not going to kill them. And it was real. If you talk to any of that, it was really no joke. It was, I'm sorry. It was really a bit of a joke. It wasn't very hard. Matt, even you wouldn't have complained.
Do you remember, Joe? Because I know you've had a lot of death race athletes over the years, but do you remember how you attempted to get me to not grab ass and dog the first 8 hours of the death race? Do you remember?
I don't. What did I do?
Well, this is probably you at your best, right? You see this, there's 200-300 people, running around. You can always tell who's not working. I mean, I've hired people, so you can always tell the people who aren't working. And, I wasn't working that hard. You put some 18-year-old with me and you said, go with him. And this kid is grabbing and sprinting. I said, buddy, we got to go 3 days, maybe 4 days, right? He heard nothing. He was just going. I was like, you motherfucker. Anyway, so what we've seen online through various posts, we saw some big stones get put on, like they have in the strongman, some big stones go over. We've seen some tug of war. We saw an obstacle race, which I think you guys called obstacross. Did I mention tug of war? I thought that was cool.
Did you see this? Did they show the swim?
They showed one guy in a wetsuit. The football player, I think. And I saw that schedule, and I don't know if it was leaked or you guys intentionally posted that because I was running a race, so I didn't see. But I said to myself, that's a full day. That's for any television production. That's a full day. You guys had a ton of events day one.
They had a ton of events day one. They got a ton of events lined up today, tomorrow. They're going all the way through Tuesday. And I got to say, Matt, you know, I busted your chops. I busted my team's chops regarding the mattress toppers and all that crap. But you know, David, Nate, Mike, Christine, the whole team was pushing me and saying, Joe, this is like legit. We got NFL players, we got Olympians, we got the Spartans. Please, let's just bear with us. Let us do these really nice dinners and set up these really nice scenarios for them and put them in the. By the way, a lot of the athletes, you're like this. A lot of the athletes said to me on that hike to go move those rocks. They said, we thought when we heard barn that there would be like goats and chickens and we'd be laying in hay. So they didn't realize that this is like nice. This is where we do, you know, high-end weddings. So I think they were pleasantly surprised there. And I have to hand it to my team. It's legit. It feels pretty good outside of my insanity of making them hike up and do that little 2 hour, 1.5 hour rock carry. It's been pretty legit. The other thing they got upset at me over was a couple of friends of mine were going to come up and train for the week. And at dinner, I said, hey, why don't you let them join the competition to see like two dark horses that were just coming to train. They're not really prepared to do. And by and large, the whole athletic community and anybody else join, whatever. But you should at least have it.
Hey, you might have to move. You're breaking up. You're totally frozen, buddy.
Hey, you froze up. Did I freeze up?
You froze up. So repeat that last part about you said something at dinner about bringing people in. Just repeat that.
And I had a friend coming over to train. Two friends coming over to train, and at dinner I said, "Hey, why don't we let them run with you guys and see how they do? They're not prepared for this." And by and large, all the athletes shut that down. So I think they're pre-running the course now, and we can see how they do compared to the quote unquote pros, right?
When you say the course, what do you mean? What event?
Wait, repeat the question. I don't understand the question.
You said they're pre-running the course now. What
oh, what I mean is like the swim. They'll pre-run they'll pre-swim the swim. They'll pre-run the obstacle course. They'll pre-do each event, and then we'll just see, just for the hell of it, so the viewer can see like how does a regular person do. I thought that would be interesting.
Okay, who's impressed you the most so far?
I mean, you can't help but be impressed by Ryan and Lindsay, right? Like they're just so versatile as athletes. It really shows you, and this statement is going to sound like I'm just so focused on obstacle racing and Spartan, but it really, at least so far in the games, it's really clear that obstacle racing athletes, Spartan athletes, are the best in the world. I mean, they might not be the strongest for throwing rocks over the wall. They might not be the fastest in a swim. They're certainly not going to be the fastest, although Ryan probably will be on the mountain biking, the DECA, et cetera. But when you look at like overall, they're just unbelievable. You remember what was his name? That the NFL athlete that came out to Tahoe, Randy Moss. Yeah, like for a viewer of Sunday, you know, or Monday Night Television, we would say, oh, he's going to kill everybody. But, you know, I remember being in the barbed wire call with him. He looked over to me. He said, this is the hardest fucking thing I've ever done in my life. So I think they're really good for like, you know, 8 seconds, 10 seconds. But beyond that, you know, and CrossFitters are really good at moving weight. You know, triathletes are really good at swimming and biking, right? But it's hard to find that whole package.
I feel like we're kind of a Rodney Dangerfield that way. that people don't understand. You have to be really fast and really strong and have really good grip endurance. You know what I mean? Like these are not things that like those CrossFitters are phenomenal, but ask them to run 2 miles, right? Forget a marathon. Ask them to run two. What are they? They're like, what do you mean? The longest training run I ever do is 1,600 meters. Like they just don't do it.
Yeah, the wake up call for me was on the farm. A bunch of CrossFitters that showed up years ago, and we just hiked up the mountain, and these were fit looking, and they broke, and it just occurred to me, oh my God, they're really good for short distance heavyweight, and we did a study. You probably saw that study. We videotaped it years ago, maybe 1 or 2 years ago. I think we called it Better Humans, where we had the athletes studied, and the doctors said exactly what you and I are saying right now. That said, look, it looks like these Spartan athletes, they're not number one across every discipline, but they're like number two across or number three, and you just don't see that in any athlete that's like strong, fast.
How long's the swim? Are they going like, is it like multiple times in the pond? Like, are they doing, how far is it?
We went out to a little lake. I mean, it's not a multi-mile swim. It's not like a 100-mile mountain bike ride. There's obviously going to be an ultra run in there. There's got to be a sprint to the top of the mountain. There's going to be multiple obstacle course races, multiple decas. So it's definitely gonna test every aspect of athleticism, endurance, strength, speed, and not surprisingly, a lot of the ultra runners are falling way behind in these early events. But they'll catch up in the later events, right? But that's the funny thing, because when you look at Ryan and Lindsay, they could also run long distances, right? They've just got the whole package. Hunter, by the way, Hunter's hanging in. There was a little bit of I probably shouldn't even say it, but I think there was a little bit of a fight between him and the gentleman you mentioned earlier. I think they were throwing punches.
Well, I guess I'm surprised and not surprised knowing those two and kind of their trash talking tendencies. But wow, that's great. That's good TV. Do we get the cameras on it?
We got the cameras on it. Yeah. Yeah.
I think the one question people want to know is, you're going to measure all these things. And I know you're not this into the X's and O's, but how do you score, right? Is everything scored equally? And then you just, whoever's the, points per whatever, or are you going to weigh certain things more?
The engineers and the MBAs got involved and put together a really detailed scoring system that I was told is extremely fair. And so I wish I could tell you what it is, but I don't know the algorithm. It's definitely not designed to make sure that the OCR athlete is the best. It's a fair system, and we wanted to see, by the way, the person, the male or female, that could lift heavy weight to be in the mix, right? We wanted to see the amazing mountain biker to be in the mix. So it's designed to make sure that everybody has a chance. I just think you and I know this. You said it earlier. Like, even though everybody has a chance, that Spartan athlete is like hard to beat. It's hard to beat.
Well, when you have somebody from an endurance background asked me, like, well, I know Ryan and Lindsay are the best obstacle racers in the world, but are they good at endurance? I'm like, they're also the best at endurance. So, and you can't say that for a lot of the top 5 men and women, but you can definitely say it about Ryan, Lindsay, and Nicole, and Rhea. Oh, Rhea's not there though, right? Or is Rhea there?
Rhea's there, yeah.
Yeah. So you've got basically the best. Yeah. So if you're an ultra runner, you're gonna have your work cut out for you.
They got their work cut out for them. I think it was a wake up call. By the way, just carrying the rocks, that little thing on before the event started that we talked about earlier, I could see the face on the ultra runners. Like, it was a big deal. Obviously for the CrossFitters, moving the rocks 100 yards, no big deal. The Spartans, they already knew this is just part of the deal. They didn't complain. But the ultra runners, they're and the the Olympic triathletes, they're a thinner group, right?
Yes.
So
Yes, they're a very thin group.
yeah.
So we've got
You and I should do this, but I've always envisioned, like, if we were to take an image of the exact triathlete body, the Ironman body, male or female, and then we took the image of the marathon runner body, or the ultra long distance trail running body, and then next to it we put the Spartan body. Three different body types. That obstacle racing Spartan body is the body you want as a human being, like you aspire to. Not to say even CrossFitters, beautiful body, but sometimes a little overdeveloped.
Well, if you like a nice round butt, a CrossFitter is for you, Joe. Can we say that in 2020?
We could say that. Yeah.
Okay. So you got 4 more days of this?
I got 4 more days of this. Yeah. 4 more days of this. Why don't we check in daily, and we'll see what's interesting each day. But you've gotten some clips, I guess. You've seen some clips, some videos.
Well, just people are sharing. The athletes are sharing little bits. Your team sharing a little bits. Marianne sharing little bits. So we're just finding some.
Awesome. Well, text me whenever you want. There's a bunch of girls showing up looking for my girls. I gotta go.
All right. As he said, we're going to try to check in every day. So let's see how that goes. And we'll see if we can get you info sooner than anyone. Thanks for watching. As always, check out our channels everywhere. Support us on the Patreon. If you love the podcast and you love me making fun videos, support us on the Patreon. Click below on the thing. Gotta run.